Thank you for taking time out of your evening to be here, and then welcome to your Lofoten in Fall pre-trip orientation. Um, Again, I'm really just excited to go through this with you guys and offer this new trip of ours. I love this picture because hopefully this is,
Yeah.
the colors you guys are going to be seeing since it's
Yeah.
Lofoten fall. It's exciting. I love the fall colors. I don't get that too much in California. Um,
No.
Yeah. I like to start off with a quote, and I thought this one was really great because to me, this is kind of representative of this trip. Norway's beauty is a reminder that nature is the greatest artist. And given the pictures and the landscapes you're going to get and see with this trip, I think it's just so fitting. Because it's this picture in particular, it's just breathtaking, in my opinion. So I thought this was a great way to start our presentation.
And I'll add that the photos don't do the natural beauty true justice of the place. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon. A photo can only do so much, but until you're like standing in front of it, you're like, oh my God, this is so much more. And that's what Norway is like too, especially the
Yeah.
areas that we're going to go.
Yeah, and that's saying something because I think the photos are beautiful, and I'm like, I can't even imagine what it's like in person, and or
Yeah.
how small you must feel against the mountains when they look big in the picture, but then you actually see it like Scott said in person, you're like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's awesome. Meet some of the team. So I'm Elizabeth. I'm your wildlife safari coordinator. I've been the one emailing with you, getting in touch with you. And
Okay.
then we have Scott here, who's your trip leader and also the co-owner of Cheesemans. So we're happy to have him on tonight. Hi,
Catherine.
Katie. Um, so yeah, we will continue on. This is just the agenda of what we're going to be covering today. Um, a lot of it is just pieces and parts from, trip planning materials and the final letters I sent you guys, as well as kind of trying to give you a little bit more of an idea of what to expect on your trip as it approaches.
And Catherine, just to let you know, you're still on mute.
Thank you.
Oh,
I will try and figure. I'm on the phone instead of the iPad.
oh.
Okay. We'll hear
I
you.
my photo disappeared, so I'm hoping that doesn't do that through the rest of my presentation. But I had a photo of your ship here, and it looks like it disappeared on me.
Oh,
Um, Anyways, if you guys can, try to save your questions till the end, just so that we can kind of try to get through the main portions of stuff, and then we'll have a Q&A section at the end. If you're worried at all about forgetting the question you have, because I do that all the time, if I don't have something, or if I have something on my mind and I don't write it down or say it, I forget. Feel free to write down any questions you have in the chat box. There's at the bottom of your screen, there should be a little chat box. You can open it and type in your questions. That way, in case you just don't want to forget it, we can all circle back at the end and check the chat box to see what questions we have there.
okay.
So, travel and getting there, I just like to go through this a little bit with all my trips. Although things are going smoothly with flights nowadays, there are still some delays and challenges that people experience. I know Scott has experienced that more than we would like this last year with delays and interruptions and things like that. So we just like to remind you guys to pack your patience. And if for some reason you guys experience any delays or changes, anything like that during your travels over to Lofoten, please let us know just so we can make sure we have, knowledge of where you're going to be when you're arriving, and if we can assist in any way possible. Um, so just pack your patience, try to go with the flow, and I think a majority of you guys are arriving a day early, earlier than we even said. So you guys should be good at least at not missing the boat, if there's any delays or challenges. So arrival, you guys will be flying into Svolvær, and I am not sure if that's the exact way. Scott, do you recall how they
That's
say it?
pretty close. The
Okay.
Norwegians have it down, but their language skills are on a whole different level as far as pronunciations.
Yeah,
But that
it's
that
that
sounds pretty good
accent.
to me.
Yeah, it's the like the AE at the end. I just don't know that I know how to pronounce it like a Norwegian does. I did learn in watching a bit of the PBS episode that I included in your final letter that I think it's actually Lofoten, like or Lofoten, like the way they pronounce like like syllables. It's
Yes.
different than I was just saying like Lofoten. So it's really cool. If you guys haven't checked that out on the final letter, the little link I sent you, definitely do that. It's a really neat episode. Um, so you guys will arrive in Svolvær, and the airport's pretty small, and you guys will have to take a taxi. It's the most, I would say the like the main, almost one of the main sources of transportation in the small town. So, the taxi is approximately 240 to 290 knock one way, and the trip one way to your hotel from the airport's about 7 to 9 minutes. On the map, if you look at it, it looks a lot farther than you'd think it is, but it's just 7 to 9 minutes of a drive. Um,
Okay.
and then I also want to point out too that you have been booked at the Thon Hotel Lofoten. So there's two, and they're right next to each other, weirdly enough. So one is Thon Hotel Svolvær, and one is Thon Hotel Lofoten. So you guys are booked at the Lofoten one.
Okay.
Next, in a slide further down, I think I have a little map for you guys. So just make sure that you're going to the right hotel. That's also the hotel's address, just so you guys have it. I believe I included it as well on your final email, so that you guys can order your taxis. And then in regards to taxis, I included this in your final letter as well, but you can book a taxi, and Scott, you can chime in on this if you would like. But you can book a taxi directly when you get to the airport, but due to the limited amount of taxis in that area, it can take a while. So my recommendation, and what I've talked to quite a few people over there about, is downloading the Taxifix app. So this app, once you download it on your phone, and I will go to the next slide because I have a little slide for you here. Once you download it on your phone, you can enter in your departure address, and it's a bit confusing, but by departure address, they mean where to pick you up. And so that would be the Svolvær Airport. If you're in the airport opening the app, it will automatically register your location. And then you can say book later or book now. I personally would suggest doing the book now while you're waiting for your luggage instead of doing the book later, because as Scott and I were talking about it, if you do the book later and you try to set up a time, they may not wait for you. If for some reason it takes your bag a little too long to come out or anything like that, it's probably just best to do the book now while you're waiting for your bags, and it will give you an estimated time of arrival for your taxi. This, for example, is what happens if you do say book later. You can select your where the yellow arrow is. You enter in your drop-off location, the Thon Hotel of Lofoten, and then you can pick up you can enter in your day, your time, and then it will have your estimated time of arrival up there for your taxi. It will also give you the estimated amount in your taxi. And then down here with the payment, you can either pay with VIPS, which is like an online credit card option through their app, or you can just change it where the little arrow is, and you can say pay in cash to the driver. So that's just kind of a little overview of that app. But again, if you do book now, you don't have to worry about selecting the date and the time. You just need to put in your departure, um, your drop-off address. So the Thon Hotel Lofoten. It's like a tongue twister. Um, and then again, the price, I would confirm it with the taxi when you guys are getting in, just to make sure, in case if you're doing book now, I don't think it tells you the amount, which is a little annoying. Um, Scott, do you have anything else to chime in on regards to the taxis?
I would also say that in all likelihood, the taxi driver also takes credit cards too. They have a credit card scanning device. Every time I've used them, I just used my credit card there.
Okay,
So
that's
Okay.
actually really good to know because I had someone ask a question about that and I wasn't sure if they'd have credit card. Most people do nowadays, but I'm used to more like New York taxis, and so I'm just never sure what's around. And if you do want to pay in cash, I believe they take D knock, but not. I'm not sure about US dollars. I'm sure they might, but I don't know. Do you know, Scott?
I would say hit or miss on that one.
Okay.
Um, Sometimes euro as well if you have euros. But as I mentioned, credit card is kind of the universal cash these days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So I will move.
They're a step ahead of the US as far as credit card acceptance and for virtually everything.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions about this and are trying to download this and are interested in it, feel free to email me. These are screenshots for me working on it on my phone, so I've kind of played around with it to try to be able to better explain or help you guys to the best of my ability. So if you guys have any questions, and if you're struggling too when you get to the airport and you're like, I'm not sure how to work this app, or I can't find where to go to get the taxi, you can WhatsApp Scott as well, and he can do his best to help you if he's on the ground there or if he's on his way. So feel free to contact us if you need any assistance with that.
And I will say at the airport too, on the wall, it's a very small airport, so they have like little posters and stuff like that. Last time I was there, there was a poster on the wall with taxi numbers as well too, so you can. Yeah, that's the trickiest part, I would say, on visiting these small towns there along the Norwegian coast is that the taxi services are pretty loose, and like I said, there's sometimes only three or four taxis, and you might have to wait for the taxi driver to drop someone off and then come back to the airport and get you. Last time I was there. I had about a 30-minute wait or so before the taxi could drop off its load of people and then come back and get me. But
Mhm.
ultimately, you do get into town. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so hopefully if you guys do the book now through this app, I'm hoping it helps a little bit instead of having to flag one down once you have your bags and then have to wait. So hopefully this is helpful. It's it's a new thing. Sometimes technology, I think it can be hit or miss or helpful or not helpful. So we'll see. But again, if you guys have any questions about it, please let me know.
if you
Okay.
really want to do it old school, if you go out and you see someone hopping in a taxi, just ask the driver, "Can you come back and get me after you drop them off?"
Mhm.
That has worked in the past for me as
Yeah.
well.
And
Okay.
I mean, town's not too far, so it's just
Too far
whether
to
it
walk,
takes
but.
yeah, too far to walk. But yeah, how long it takes the person, to get out of the taxi, unload their stuff, how far into town they're going, stuff like that. So then you guys will be meeting Scott on September 12th and at the hotel lobby at 6:30 p.m. You guys will have a welcome dinner, and then Scott will give you guys a little bit of a quick brief for the next day for embarkation. Because he will be getting a little bit like he'll have your embarkation time closer to the trip. So that being said, that's kind of, oh my gosh, all my pictures of the boat disappeared.
Hmm.
Sorry about that, guys. Um,
Copyright
embarkation day.
infringement.
I know it's weird because it's yeah, I don't know what happened to it, but it's the ship picture from our website, so it's on there in case you guys haven't seen it yet. But embarkation day will be the following day, September 13th, and you guys will be embarking in the evening. So you guys have a free morning and afternoon. Lunch is also on your own, so you kind of have free range to go, maybe see if there's some museums, explore the town. And then, like I mentioned, Scott will have a better picture of your exact embarkation time at your briefing. Just depends on when the ship comes in and kind of how they turn it around and such. So, he will let you know, and we have a WhatsApp group that he also again can keep in touch with you guys on any updates like that. So, this is the map I was talking about. The red, like you are here kind of dot is your Thon Hotel Lofoten. So that's where you guys will be staying. And then the yellow star is the dock where the boat will be. So you can see there's kind of like a little red dotted line. It's an easy walk over to the dock. If you guys are checked out and, obviously you're boarding in the evening, you can ask the hotel to hold your bags while you guys go out and explore and, do whatever you want, have lunch. So, and then when you come back, you can just get your bags from the hotel and then walk over to the dock for boarding. Um, I like to put this in here. It's Seasickness shouldn't be too much of a problem since you will be in an archipelago area. The sea shouldn't be as rough as if you're, doing a open sea crossing or anything. But I know some people can tend to be a little bit more susceptible to seasickness, even just rocking on a boat. I know sometimes when I get on a boat, first thing I'm like, okay, take some seasickness medication or some motion sickness medication just to help me adjust to my sea legs. So that's something I just recommend for anybody who's a little worried about it. Something like Bonine or something like that would be fine to have. And if you're at all worried about getting seasick, the best thing to do is just be prepared and take action before you feel sick. That way it's harder to get over it once you are sick than it is to just prepare yourself from getting there in the first place. This is just a map of the Lofoten archipelago, some little dots of the possible stops you guys will be at. This, like most of our ship trips, is an expedition style trip. So, as you guys will notice in the itinerary we sent you, we just have some of the stops listed, but we don't have them as like per day on what you will be doing. So Scott works with the ship to make sure that they have the best layout of the stops for you guys. And this is also on our website on the itinerary page if you want to go check it out. And you can kind of zoom in and like look at everything and then zoom out to see the distance. And it's like an interactive map that's really awesome to explore. So these are just a few, not even all, just a few of the destinations. And then you can kind of see here, this is where you guys will be landing and starting and ending your trip, flying into. That being said, I have a really cool just photo slide here while Scott kind of gives you guys a little bit of an idea of what to expect on, each day on your trip. Every day is always different on an expedition trip, but he can give you a little bit of insight on what those days look like.
Yeah, as Elizabeth pointed out, we don't want to put a day by day itinerary because chances are it will change. It changes based on weather conditions, it changes based on groups' interest, where we might have open skies in which to seek out the aurora borealis that we hope to see while we're there. I will say that almost pretty much every day we're going to be stopping and getting off, and we'll have access to hikes, or as long there's hikes for people who love walking and hiking, and then there's shorter hikes for people that might want a more casual stroll along a beach setting or in a small village setting. So it's really kind of catering toward people of all different kind of walking levels. Um, we have two guides on board, myself being one, and another one who is more than happy to take people to the tops of mountains that want to go up mountain hiking, or the people who, like myself, enjoy going to the beaches and setting up cameras and tripods and stuff like that. Um, it is supposedly, this is my favorite time to go to Lofoten for the fall colors. Mid-September is usually peak. And last year at this same time, the colors were glorious. So I'm looking forward to finding those oranges and reds, and then coupled with these quaint little fishing villages that we stop in. It is some of the prettiest coastline I've ever encountered. When I first scouted it out years ago, I was blown away. I had heard about it, and a lot of times, be it marketing or whatever, people say, "Oh my gosh, it's really really pretty," and I kind of hold a bit of reservation till I see it for myself. But I was blown away. It was some of the prettiest stuff I've seen, and I live near Big Sur, which has some amazing coastline here. But I would say the Lofoten coastline kind of puts Big Sur to shame, and that's a pretty big feat to do. I think everyone's going to love it out there, and I'm just hoping for good clear skies at nighttime because that's when the aurora can pop up. And every time I've been to Lofoten on this trip, we've had some really nice aurora at night. So I'm crossing fingers. It's going to give us some more fantastic aurora. So daytime hikes, nighttime aurora. We're going to be eating good food for those that like good wine. I will say that the captain of the ship, he's French, and good wine is a imperative with him. So he and his colleagues and friends, usually before a expedition, they will have wine sampling at his house, and they all pick the best wines, and those are the ones that get brought on board. So yeah, if you're a wine lover, a foodie of sorts, we'll take advantage of that as well.
That sounds fun. That sounds great. It's gotta be awesome to be one of his friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think these coastlines, I mean, I love this one little picture down here is kind of the same one I had on the quote, but I love the golden rays of light and then the way that you just see these tiny little towns and these big mountains. It's great. And in fall, you're so right, Scott. It's the oranges and the reds. There's a lot of that in the buildings too, so it's very complimentary and
And
looks
I'll say too, because we're on a small ship, we're able to go to so many of these landings that most tourists don't get to go to. Uh, Many of these islands, the only way to get to them is by boat. There's no airport. There's no roads that lead out to some of the ones that we visit. And so it's not uncommon to have these hiking trails all to yourself or these beaches, like a mile long beach, and you might be the only people that are on it. Compared to the rest of Europe, that's not usually the case. You have to share with hundreds, if not thousands, of people. And the beauty of this trip is we have our own ship at our disposal for the week. So we're going to get to some out of the way places, and we're going to see some of the classic spots too that always show up in postcards and Instagram feeds. So we get a little bit of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I love that it's such a small group too. I mean, I love our Antarctic trips, but it's like 100 people versus, this trip which takes a max of 12. So yeah, it's just great. I love small small group adventures.
Mhm.
For sure.
So that being said too, we're gonna go into just a brief little talk about clothing. There's some more information, obviously, in your trip planning materials document, so make sure you definitely look at that. But because, you are going up into more of the Arctic kind of areas, I don't know if it's technically fully Arctic. Do you know, Scott? I know it's up
We're
there.
right by the Arctic Circle, but this time of year it still has some of the summer weather coming from the Gulf Stream, and but it's one of those places that you can see a wide range of temperatures. I've been checking the weather this week, and temperatures have ranged from 50 degrees on or 10 degrees Celsius for our Europeans out there to maybe 15 degrees Celsius or 50 to 60, mid 60s. So Fahrenheit. So,
Yeah, and because there is hiking, and as Scott mentioned previously, you can do as much hiking or as little as hiking as you want. It's good to be layered, because if you're going to do one of the more moderate hikes, you might get warm. So you definitely layering is key. And then as you're on the boat in the evenings, if you're out doing aurora photography or if you're out on the boat while it's moving, it can definitely you get that like wind chill. So it's good to also have a warmer outer layers as well. So and then don't forget, because I definitely did this when I went on my Antarctic trip, is I forgot ship clothes. I don't think it's as big of a thing with this trip versus Antarctica, but having some comfortable clothes for either the hotel and the ship, more comfortable shoes, even if slippers, if you guys just want to wear slippers around the ship, then that definitely make sure you bring that. And then comfortable hiking or Scott, what about hiking shoes? Do you think more hiking boots, right? And then sneakers would be more if you're going to plan to do just kind of like the town walks.
Kind of those CrossFit sneakers work great too. They don't have to be hardcore hiking boots. Um, I have a pair of they're almost they're outdoor trail runners, and those work great out here too. Um, so you don't need to bring, 10-pound boots with you or anything like that. Certainly, if you're just walking around the towns, comfortable pair of, you know, hikers, those CrossFit shoes and uh, trail runner shoes work great for that too. Just make
Yeah.
sure, uh, they're comfortable and they don't give you blisters or anything like that.
Mhm.
And then, did it was it misty at all when you were there last year around that time? Is
It can
like
rain. Yeah, we're maritime, so there certainly can be rain.
wet conditions potentially if you're
Yep,
hiking, just to be aware of.
we had a mix. So some days we had some light rain and then beautiful sunshine. So yeah, just kind of prepare for like Northern California type weather, Oregon type of weather. Is very similar.
Yeah, and so just making sure you have base layers, mid layers, outer layers. Good socks too is also really great when you're, especially if you're doing some hiking. And then for your face, hats, neck gaiters are great in case, especially if you're outside doing photography in the evening and it's getting cold, that will definitely help you stay warm. Um, and then the other thing I was going to mention, I don't have it on here on the slide, but if you want to, I would definitely recommend having a walking stick if you feel like you might need one, like maybe one of the extender ones you can pack in your carry-on, not carry-on, your checked luggage. Sometimes they have the little spikes and they take them as a weapon, so definitely put it in your checked luggage. But if you feel you might want that additional help, like just have to have a walking stick, it's definitely good to bring that as well.
Yep.
And then sadly, you guys will have your departure. After you're cruising through the archipelago, you guys will disembark on September 22nd after breakfast, and then Scott will assist you in getting your taxis back to the airport. I don't have anybody staying longer at the end, so there will be more likely that you guys will be sharing taxis and then heading to the airport for your flights home.
Is anyone taking that really early flight out on the 22nd? I know there's like a 7:30 in the morning flight. I know some people
I
are.
think there are some people. I need to go back and look at the flight details that I pulled the other day. There's too many trips in my brain right now, but I think there are some that are taking.
Yeah, I know there's a few. I didn't know if anyone
Yeah, I want to say there's 7:30 or 8:30. I can't remember from everyone who's here.
7:30 as an afternoon.
Um, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, either way, we'll get you to the airport.
Yeah.
Early morning breakfast for those 7:30 departure people, or you'll have a more casual breakfast departure for
Yeah,
them.
and then Scott, for the people who might be leaving in the afternoon, is there a way they can, do they have to have their bags with them then, or is because
We can probably, I'll speak with the captain. Often what I've done also in the past is I've gone back to the Thon Hotel. And since it's early morning, they assume that you're checking in later in the afternoon and they can't check you in that morning. So they have a place for us to just store our bags there too. So you can kind of wander about town as well. Uh,
yeah.
the ship does need us off after breakfast because they're unloading and loading again for their next voyages that they do. So we unfortunately can't stay in our rooms too late into the morning.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, that's a great idea with the Thon Hotel. I'm sure they would be happy to hold your bags if anybody
Never
wants
been a
to.
problem in the past.
Yeah, and because the airport's really small, so it's not like one of those airports where you go and you have tons to do if you're there really early.
No, you don't want to go to the airport till
Yeah.
it's
So
fine.
like I mentioned, Scott will help with the taxis back to the airport that day. So um staying connected, as I mentioned previously, we have a group WhatsApp for this trip. The link to join, as well as a QR code, was in your final email I sent you. That's also posted on your trip portal page. You can also scan this QR code here to be able to join. You do need to have a WhatsApp downloaded and have an account already to make the joining of the group easy and smooth. Um, but this is a great way to stay connected before the trip, during the trip, and a bit after the trip. However, we can't keep it open forever, so the WhatsApp will probably close about 6 weeks after your trip. So anything that you guys want from that, conversations or photos or anything, you can download them beforehand. Um, but this is a great way to stay in touch. I'll be on there and Scott will be on there. So if you guys need anything, and also our Cheesemans one, which Krista monitors, but if you guys need anything on your way or are struggling with anything, let us know. And then again, that will be the best way for Scott to stay in contact with you guys about any changes to boarding times or dinner time for the welcome dinner, anything like that. So it's a great way just to stay connected during the trip.
Yeah, and I'll just throw in if you don't hear from me right away, that means I'm offline because I'm like you guys, I'm flying there as well, and I might not have access to Wi-Fi during my airtime or anything like that. But Elizabeth pointed out she'll be there. Krista will be monitoring it as well. So we got your backs one way or another.
Yeah. And then once you guys do go, I think off in exploring, I don't think there's Wi-Fi, right, Scott?
Yeah, we'll be kind of off grid at times. So in the villages, like some of the more traveled villages, yes, you'll have cell service. But in some of these outer islands, we won't. But that's kind of the beauty too. I think every now and then it's really good to unplug, especially these days. I
Yeah.
I'm
And then
enjoying being unplugged at times.
yeah, definitely. And WhatsApp too, I will say if you don't want to like do a plan with your cell phone or you just don't want to have to deal with that, the areas where you do get some Wi-Fi, this is a great way to stay in touch with family as well. So if your family or friends have WhatsApp, this is a great way to just kind of check in and make sure that, if they're wanting you to stay in touch and just be like, hey, all good, trip's going great. This is also a great way to do that too. So,
Or if you don't want to be in touch with your family, just tell
yeah,
them you're unplugged. There's no.
no Wi-Fi, sorry. Yeah, just as long as they know where you're at and that you're not gonna have Wi-Fi. It's a fairly short trip anyways, so it's not that long. Um, So, and just a little brief reminders again, a pre-travel checklist. So please make sure you've reviewed your final updates and reminders email I sent you. That's got mostly the key points from our trip planning materials, which is also a great reference before your trip. And then continue to check for updates on entry requirements to Norway. We keep an eye on these things as well. So if anything were to change, we would let you know. But I think Norway is probably one of the easier ones to get into. They don't have a ton of requirements or visas or anything like that. And then something that we also just kind of like to remind you guys of is to bring a few COVID tests and plenty of masks. If someone starts to feel sick, it's good just to have those to test and kind of help make sure you're not spreading it through the rest of the trip. In addition to that, we also suggest that you make sure you protect yourself as much as possible from getting sick before and during travel. So there's still, I mean, even though it's summer, there are still so many things going around. And we want to make sure that you and everyone on board enjoys your trip to the fullest. And obviously, it's hard to do that when you're not feeling so great. So just trying to make sure sanitize, masks, just protecting yourself as much as possible. And then post trip, just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect when you get back, we will be sending out some emails, about one email a week for you to look forward to. The first email that you'll receive is one to fill out our trip evaluation form. This is really, we love this for all our trips. We'd love to get the feedback, hear your guys' memories, and what you like thought worked, what you didn't. For this trip, it's really important if you guys can take the time to fill them out. Since this is a newer trip for us, we would love your feedback. What you thought was great, what you thought could be better, anything you want to give us is great. So please do keep an eye out for that. You guys will receive an email after the week after, a reminder to fill out your evaluation if you haven't already. And then the next email you'll receive is for your Google photo sharing folder. This also is already accessible through your trip portal now. So if you want to, well, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you can't access it. But if you have Wi-Fi at some stop on the trip or at the airport on your way home and you want to start uploading photos to share, that is available through your trip portal already. Then you will receive an email about it once you get home in case you forgot or haven't had the chance to do it. The last email you'll receive from us is just a conservation email. We do our best to travel with a sustainable and conservative mindset, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word for it right now, but a conservation mindset, I should say. Uh,
Great.
and we love to respect the destinations that we travel to, and we want to keep these places pristine and glorious for the next travelers. So that's just something to kind of look at as well, and expect from us. So it'll be one email a week, usually Wednesdays or Thursdays, to keep an eye out for us. And then, as I mentioned in our final letter, the Google photo sharing folder, as well as your trip portal, it's only active for, I think, up to maybe 3 months after your trip. So if there's any photos that are shared in the Google photo sharing folder that you would like to download and keep as well, please do so. And then I just always like to say this because I know there's photographers on these trips. If you're downloading someone's photo that they've shared, please make sure you give them credit if you happen to share it with a friend or post it on Facebook in your Lofoten trip review. Just make sure you credit whoever your whose photo it is, and just be respectful of that as well. That is pretty much it. But now is our chance to go through some questions, and I will just put this slide up for a minute. In case anybody has questions after this or before, between now and your trip, feel free to contact me. I think a lot of you have my email, but if you don't, it's here. And you can also contact info@Cheesemans while you're traveling too. We are always constantly monitoring that in case I'm not on or you need immediate assistance. That being said, I'm going to take this off and so I can see everyone's faces. Perfect.
I think Catherine, okay, you're unmuted
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
Katie, please.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought I had seen another person join and then it kind of disappeared. So I don't know if we had someone.
I joined on the phone and then I joined on the
Oh,
iPad.
okay.
So
That's
I
why.
came and
Okay.
went. Um, it's
Yeah,
just a
it's a
little
small
easier to
group.
see your slides on
Yeah,
the
it's a
bigger
small
screen.
group, but
Yeah,
we're happy you could join us, Katie. Yay. Um,
thanks. I had to
yeah,
scramble to find the link.
oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go look at the chat. I saw that there was um a little post, so I'm gonna look at the
That was me. I downloaded your Taxifix thing, and all the legals were in Norwegian, so I just accepted it without actually reading it.
oh okay.
And I
Yeah,
never
you
do
know
that. I
what?
always read it, every word.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I might have just done that too. I'm kind of terrible. I'm a little skimmer. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
worked with them. So what you agreed to is we get the deed to your house now.
Okay. When I'm done
yeah,
with it, yeah,
it's an interesting, app. I mean, it should, when, like I was saying, when you guys get there, if you open it when you're at the airport, it should ping your
Like
location
Uber.
because,
It's their local Uber app.
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah. Because going in to kind of play around with the app, it keeps trying to pull my exact location, and I'm like, it's like no rides in California. I'm like, well, yeah, no, wouldn't be. But yeah, if you guys have any issues with it, let me know. It seems fairly straightforward. I think just the payment for the credit cards is I
Yeah.
didn't really get to play around with that. So as
It
Scott
would be nice to be able
wanted
to pay by credit card. Yeah.
yeah, if you wanted to pay by credit card, in the cab, it sounds, as Scott said, it sounds like that's possible. So you could just make sure that the payment option is on like pay directly to driver or whatever. You
Okay.
change that option, and then you could do credit card with them.
Okay.
Yeah. Did anybody have any questions?
I have a bunch, as my husband will tell you. I always Well, then let me
Bring
get
him at
my
us.
I'll get my one comment question out first. Um, so when we're getting in
Oh, that's one of mine too.
oh it is oh good that saves you some
But you
time.
don't know the times.
Later in the evening, about when the dinner is starting, so we might be late to the
That's
dinner,
fine.
and so
And
keep a
leaving,
plate warm.
Okay.
what's that?
So keep a plate warm for us.
Okay, we'll keep
Well,
the plate warm for you. If for whatever reason you're delayed uh, to a later period than you were expecting, let me know. I'm always happy to brief you again when you do
Okay.
arrive.
Yeah,
Uh,
so we'll keep you updated once we
well,
get into the
my
airport.
question's the same, but I'm more specific.
Okay.
We arrive at 6:15 and the dinner's at 6:30. But in Oslo, we have a 4.5 hour layover, and we
Mm,
designed that just in case there was a delay that we would not miss the flight into Spal.
Good to
So
do.
we were wondering if we should change our flight because we were considering Scandinavian Airlines changing the flight from Oslo to Spal to come in a little earlier.
Well, what's the layover with the earlier flight?
Um,
If it's
they
like
were like about an
45
hour.
minutes,
They were about an hour and a half or something. I think I don't remember specifically.
I think that's a call that
Yeah,
I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to tell you something and then all of a sudden you've got delayed to the point that you missed your flight and you're like, that Scott, he
yeah.
told us
Yeah.
it was okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I tend to err on the side of being a little conservative with my
Okay.
cushion plans these
okay.
days.
Yeah,
So,
that's what we did. Just we're patient people. We can read books and stuff, but
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
usually the first 30 minutes of the dinner time is chit chat anyway. So,
Okay.
okay.
All
or
right.
hopefully you get there with no delays or anything. And worst case scenario is you get in late and then you and I we'll have a private conversation.
Oh, good. Yeah.
yeah,
One on
6:15
one.
is not too bad.
Yeah.
So you guys should be okay. And I think as pertains to the layover, Scott and I were chatting, and um that might be where you guys do your like immigration or customs stop too,
Yeah.
potentially, right? So
Oh, that's
In
right.
Oslo.
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
So that might be better to have that chunk of time.
Okay. We'll make use
I
of it.
like having chunks of time in
Yeah.
Hmm.
the airport. So
Okay.
Yeah.
and when I read the pre-trip information, I was getting the impression that we booked the taxi here from the States, but we do it when we're actually arrive in Solver.
You could. So that's kind of where I was saying you could book it now for
Yeah,
your arrival if you wanted to. The only thing about that is if you book it for a certain time and it takes you to a certain amount of time to get off the plane and then get to your luggage, and then your luggage is like the
yeah,
last to come out and you scheduled your taxis for 5 minutes ago, they might not wait
yeah.
for you.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
even if you're going to use the Taxifix app, it's probably better to use it once you get there, because then it will register your location then and there that you're at the airport. All you have to do is put in your drop off location, the hotel, and then if you say book now, it will kind of give you an idea of what time your taxi will arrive, and then you can book it, like fully book it. I did kind of go into that section, and I should have taken pictures of that as well, but it will say like, are you okay to book your taxi now? Because note that, it's going to arrive by roughly this time and you need to be ready. So it does kind of give you a heads up. So it's a little bit
Okay.
better to do the book now. Yeah.
Okay.
Katie?
I don't have an eSIM, so is there Wi-Fi at the airport to get on the taxi app?
there's certainly one in Oslo. The one in the Svolvær, I would say it's usually working. Sometimes it doesn't. And
Mm.
that's where, like, the worst case scenario that I threw out there is you do it old school. As soon as you see the taxi guy in front, and if he's filling up the car with people, just tell him, "Can you come
Come
back for
back.
me?" And he'll say
Yeah.
yes.
And they
Yeah.
they will
They've got better English than I've got
Oh
Norwegian.
yeah, yeah. They speak English.
If
Yeah,
you're
that was
lost in the
another
Norwegian.
question. At
Yeah.
the hotel and stuff, they'll be English speaking or
It's
Yeah.
very, very good. They speak better than most of my American friends.
Yeah, and Scott was saying it's if you have to flag one down, it just you might have to wait a little longer than you might with the app. So that's just why I wanted to give you guys the resource of the Taxifix app. And that's what the app looks like, that little marker that I have in the presentation and on your final letters. That's what the app should look like. So if you're downloading it, and it shouldn't cost anything.
No,
So
it was free.
yeah, it's free
Yeah.
app. Just because you're paying for your taxi once you book it. Like Scott said, it's a great analogy. It's kind of like their version of Uber.
Okay.
Yeah.
so
Uh,
on the 13th we're disembarking or embarking or whatever it's called.
embarking. Uh-huh.
Embarking on the ship in the evening.
Yeah.
So we'll need cash during the day. Should we get
Credit card.
cash?
They
Just
use credit
credit
cards a
card.
lot. I would
Okay.
say, and Scott, you can chime in on this. From what I have pulled up and looked into and kind of all the information I've got, um, credit card is widely accepted. The only time you might want Norwegian kroner is if there's like a small little shop that doesn't take credit card, at one of the little villages that is accessible only by boat. But credit card is very widely used in Norway, so.
Okay.
So in Solveren, so will it be easy to get some local cash, or should we do that ahead of time?
Typically, at the in town, there's a couple of places that you can do. They have ATM machines and
Oh,
there too, so you could do
Okay.
it with the ATM machine.
Okay.
Of course, your exchange rate
Yeah.
increase,
Right.
but
yeah.
yeah, if you're only bringing a small amount of cash, a $10 exchange fee is not a big deal in the grand scheme of things.
Mm.
Yeah. In Svolvær, I would definitely say that most places are gonna accept credit card. I would say like 99%. But
Yeah, the
um
restaurants certainly do.
Mhm.
And if they don't, they usually will say very clearly no credit cards. But in the main areas where good population is, people, tourists, yeah, credit cards are pretty
Mhm.
universal.
Okay.
mhm.
And I think you answered my other question about why we need to bring COVID tests. Because when I had COVID a couple years ago, my doctor had me take Paxlovid or
Hmm.
Paxlovid.
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 Yeah. But
Yeah,
so I was thinking, why do we need to bring a test? Because there won't be access. But I guess it's just then to let other people know that you are.
Yeah, that maybe you got
yeah,
COVID versus another one of the viruses that's going out there. I know some
Yeah.
people might be a little bit more sensitive to the COVID virus
Yeah.
based on previous experiences as opposed to a cold virus. So it'd be more for information. Uh,
yeah.
this is
And
what I got, and this is what I don't have.
yeah,
Mhm.
and I mean, if anybody is worried about COVID or is a little bit more, like you have pre-existing conditions or something like that, that's really not great to get it. I would recommend talking to your doctor just to see if they could prescribe you Paxlovid just to take as a precaution with you, since
Hmm.
you might not have access to it. I know my parents, my dad is he has to be very careful with it, and so his when he went abroad somewhere, his doctor prescribed him of a normal dosage of the Paxlovid stuff just to have him like take with him. He didn't need to use it, but if he needed it, he had it. So that's my recommendation if you're concerned at all about that.
Yeah.
So it's just good to
You
talk to
can
you
chime
about
in
it.
too if you have insight into this as well. So.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just like a respect thing too, trying to be respectful of our
Yeah.
travelers, just to make sure, because yeah, it tends to be one of the things things can spread so easily, but that just seems to be one of the top ones that just can
Mhm.
spread like that. So yeah.
Okay.
And when we checked the CDC website, all the vaccines required for the trip just sounded like standard stuff to us. So
Yeah,
there
there's
was
nothing
yeah.
nothing really like no yellow fever stuff or
Yeah.
nothing really required. Just regular, try to be up to date on regular routine vaccinations and
Most of us don't have rabies at the moment,
yeah.
so
Don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes. Do we need sunscreen or just maybe hats to protect our face?
If it's sunny out, and
Yeah.
you are sensitive to sun, I'm not going to say don't bring it, but I
Yeah.
don't think you're going to need large amounts of it. Most of your body's going to be covered, except for maybe your face, uh,
Yeah.
cheeks and nose and stuff like that. So if you have like a little facial tube
Yeah.
for your daily
And
soak.
we try to pack lightly, so we want to wash clothes so we don't have to bring a lot. But will we have access, or we just hand wash in the sink in the room?
We
Or-
do have some access. Now, I'll say that it's not something that you'll have access to like every other day. But if like once during mid-trip you say I've got a load of laundry, we can accommodate that. We just didn't want people thinking that they have like fresh laundry service on a daily basis out
Mhm.
here.
But
That
can we hand wash and just hang it in our cabins, or
Well, you
is
can
that
do
probably?
that too.
Yeah.
We do have a washing machine on board.
Okay. Oh, it's on board.
Yeah, it's on board the ship, but like I said, it's not meant for daily service
Right.
of the passengers' personal laundry. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
for the cruise laundry, but we can squeeze it in occasionally. Like I said, for a group of 12 people, you can probably get at least one load done at some point, and it's not a long trip, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think too, given that it's a bit cooler and hopefully, like, I mean, there is gonna be some hiking involved, but if no one's like running up the hills or anything, you're not like drenching yourself in sweat or anything. You should be able to probably, reuse an outfit like two, three
But
times.
if you're getting really
Yeah.
stinky, I'm going to tell you that
Oh,
it's time for laundry service.
It-
Well, and then if you also bring, like one or two ship outfits that, you change into once you're back on for the night or something and you're out of your hiking clothes or stuff like that, it helps you kind of prolong those other
that's true.
as
mhm.
Good
well.
point.
They can air
Yeah.
out and such. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Otherwise,
was my mistake with Antarctica. I was like, oh no, I can't believe I'd forgotten ship clothes. It was such a mistake. I was like, this was a mistake. I was so well prepared for everything but the ship. So it's always something I'm like, remind people of. Any other questions?
That's it for me. We're
Okay.
just very excited
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
You
I know.
gave
I'm so
me a
excited.
false hope there. I thought you had like 25 questions.
Oh,
Your
Yeah.
list was not terrible.
just
Yeah.
more than him. I was
Yeah.
surprised you had one.
Yeah, one.
For all easy ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the moment we have pretty close to a full trip. It's just, a busy weeknight. So I know some people are abroad and aren't able to join it this time. So
Oh,
although it's just the few of us here, we do have pretty close to a full trip.
Oh,
So
good.
oh,
yeah.
I have a politically sensitive question. Is there anything we need to be wary of offending people because of America's
Well, if you
Situation.
get a big
situation?
red hat, I would suggest not bringing it.
Okay.
Don't wear that.
Yeah.
Unless it's maybe like a big Norwegian flag, but I don't even know if that point,
I
people
don't
see a
think a
red
MAGA hat would be too popular over there.
flag.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
We'll leave
no,
that behind.
Yeah, well, good.
I think I had some trips going earlier this year and people were concerned about it. And I think mostly for the sentiment, a lot of people, yeah, it's more they're sympathetic to us. Or
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think we're not really huge on politics on the trips anyways,
good.
just because we know everyone's got their own opinions and we kind of all our travelers tend to have similar mindsets, so it's generally not a problem, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Katie, I thought you were about to raise your hand for a question.
Well, nothing dreadful, I don't think. If I recall, you said that these are all dry landings, so we don't,
Yeah,
you don't need wet boots, and you don't need exposure suits or anything like that.
no, we won't
Just,
be wearing exposure suits on here. That's only for our Arctic
yeah,
trips.
okay.
Yeah, and there's
It
no
just,
Zodiac cruises. I
yeah.
No,
think.
Well,
Yeah.
every time I go
there's a
to,
possibility we will, but with the conditions inside the fjords, it's
Yeah.
really super calm. So you don't have to worry about being splashed or anything like that.
Okay.
As much as I know how you love those exposure suits.
I scramble into them. But remember, every time I go to the polar regions, my luggage doesn't come with me.
Oh,
So,
Oh,
seriously.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I've
Not this
got
time. We're gonna be hopeful.
I've got two connections to make. So, should the worst happen again, would I be able to restock in Svalbard?
Yes, there's
Okay.
a couple of outdoor clothing stores there, as well
Yeah.
as regular clothes too. So in a
I
pinch,
really don't want to.
right,
But
right.
I
We're
think
gonna
we're going
stay
to break that
positive.
cycle
Yeah,
on
I'll be
this.
hopeful for you.
yeah,
you're
thanks.
arriving with only two connection. We have 5 flights to get
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Where
from
Yeah.
are you
From
flying in?
California to
Where in
uh,
California?
We're in the Bay Area,
Okay.
the
Uh,
San Francisco area.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's your route? Five connections.
Uh,
we're going from well, we're going to Minnesota and then from Minnesota to Oslo and then Oslo to
hold on.
Bobo?
um
Boba?
Photo.
Through
Photo.
through Amsterdam.
yeah.
Yeah, and then Bodo and Svolvær.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit harder to get to because as Scott was saying, it's like it's more tucked away, it's
Mhm.
smaller, so it's definitely not the easiest. I think everyone's
Yeah.
gotta go through Bodo to I think everyone that I've seen their flights, they're coming from Bodo to
Yeah.
Well, Catherine's question pertains to you as well. Yes, there are places in
Yeah.
it. Uh,
yeah.
quick.
There's a lot of fishing too, so I'm sure they've got a lot of like waterproof stuff and things that
Yeah.
you can use. Yeah, but I'm gonna stay hopeful for everyone that everyone's luggage makes it.
Well, if I want to try to find a Norwegian sweater that I just got to have, it shouldn't be too hard to
Oh,
find something.
there's some good places, especially in some of the towns that we go in. The
Okay.
As I mentioned, the more tourist oriented, the really, classic fishing villages
Mhm.
now catered to some of the visitors that they get, and they know that sweaters is high on the
Okay.
list. And there's some beautiful classic Norwegian sweaters up there. I've
Okay.
got one myself.
All right.
I was that makes me feel like I feel like I remember it wasn't Frozen. I don't know if this is such a random thing, but I feel like the Frozen movies were supposed to be based off Norwegian culture. I thought. I'd
haven't
have to
been
go look it up again, but it makes me think
I
of
think you're right.
the first movie when
No, Swedish
it's
because
supposed
they were highlighting the at one point the sauna experience.
to, okay.
It's
That's a
But
probably a
big part of
mishmash.
Norwegian culture
but
too.
then they have the
Yeah.
caribou, and that's not Sweden. That's
There's
more
no
Yeah.
way.
Well, because
you
I'm
know
thinking of the part where it's
Scandinavia.
supposed to be
The
summer.
Sami people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
sister
Right.
goes to the little cabin and he's like, "Yoo-hoo, big summer float."
Yeah.
It just makes me think of the sweaters and just oh, that
Oh,
makes me think of the sweaters for some reason. But that's now I need to feel like I need to go rewatch that. But
right.
yeah. Well, great. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, I will let you
No.
go. But if anything comes up between, like I said, now and the trip, please feel free to email or call. Scott and myself are available. We didn't talk much about camera gear, Scott, but there might be some questions that people have about that haven't made it to this.
Does anybody here right now have any questions
Yeah.
camera wise, or if not, again, feel
No,
free to
I
email
think
later.
he's going to bring every lens he has.
I don't have a lot, so that helps.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
Not
for
yet.
this particular trip, you don't need the big lenses like you would for Tanzania wildlife,
Right.
something like that. This
Okay.
is more landscapes and
wide angle.
aurora, so wide
Yeah.
angle or mid zooms. Those
Oh,
are much more
I
prevalent.
just a random question. If we're out hiking for several hours, should we bring some breakfast bars or snacks to take along on these hikes or
If you have a specific, I mean, we try to feed you very well throughout.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and there's always we have fruit and those kind of snacks on board that you feel free to pack. But if you have like special power bars that you like to bring, yeah,
Yeah.
by all means, bring a few of those for the trips. Usually the hikes are set up where uh, they might be anywhere from 1 hour to 3, 4 hours. And so we time them with the meals. So you might have a
Okay.
morning hike and you get back and you have a nice hearty
Okay,
lunch,
yeah.
or after
Yeah.
lunch, and then we have a nice hearty dinner waiting for you on the back. But
Okay.
if you're someone that needs to graze or snack like myself,
Oh,
uh,
Not, yeah. I do know in Tanzania we brought a lot of snack bars, and we came back with a lot of snack bars.
that's the thing.
yeah.
On all our
Yeah.
safaris, the,
Yeah.
the, the problem is too many calories usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like most our trips, it's like you never go hungry. I know in the
Yeah.
Galapagos, it's like you get out from a snorkel, they've got snacks, they've got hot
Mhm.
drinks, you've got
Right.
you're like, oh my gosh. So you're never going hungry. I'm also feel like some
Mhm.
of the trips I've been on, it's like they have dessert at lunch and dinner, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Right.
So
Who
at
needs
least
lunch or
this
dinner?
one,
We have dessert.
yeah, you guys are getting out and getting a little bit of movement, so it's
Yeah.
probably great.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a great idea, though. I mean, I think if I totally understand though, because I think I've done that too, where I've brought protein bars and then I end up bringing back all my protein bars.
Mm.
But if you think you might need them, then maybe like just a few.
And if you
All
don't
the
want
more
to
fun.
bring a lot of that with you in Svalbard itself on that morning and afternoon that you have
Yeah,
free time, there are supermarkets there that you can
Yeah,
wander,
okay.
Oh, okay.
and
yeah,
they
they
have
probably have great options, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
they they,
probably
they have
healthier.
those kind of bars
Probably.
there.
That'll be
Yeah,
fun to experiment with some different things
Yeah.
too.
yeah, that's true.
Similar to the energy bars, on I think every trip you've ever taken me on, it always says bring a water bottle. I think
Mm.
the only time I've ever actually
Oh,
needed to drink out of a water bottle, was in Borneo,
Oh,
because it was hot and you needed to drink. But most of the time, I carry that sucker all the way there, and I carry it all the way home, and it never gets used. Can I save the space, or am I really going to need one this
Uh,
time?
I bring a water bottle just because if I'm hiking up a mountain and I'm sweating a lot, uh,
Yeah,
I like having that extra water with me. If you're not planning on going for
I
a
don't think I'll be doing the 5-hour hike up the mountains,
yeah, I mean,
honestly.
you're a 30-minute hike. Literally, you can like hike out and it's like, oh, I've had enough. I'm going to walk back to the ship. Uh,
Yeah,
so
yeah, and I think
yeah. I'm
if you're
lazy,
going.
you know that.
Yeah, if you go to the one of the villages, I'm sure they'll have, potentially like more sustainable options of water there. Probably, that's what I would assume,
Yeah.
but you can always get a water there. I usually this is like my go-to. It's
Hmm.
massive, but I sometimes like it for the planes too, though. That's my thing because I'm the same way. I think I took like a whole life-saving straw somewhere, and I was like, okay, I never used this. But for me, having this like going to the airport empty and then having it on my carry-on so I can fill it because I hate the water cups on planes. It just I don't like having anything that's open
Hmm.
because I can't drink that much water that fast. But yeah, if you do plan on going the longer hikes, it's definitely good to have one. If you're not, like Scott said, I
yeah.
don't know. You probably don't
Yeah,
need,
I
Yeah,
need
or
water
just bring
bottles
a
in
smaller one.
airports.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
yeah.
I could probably find one on board for you too if you
If
don't
if
want
need be. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
I don't drink constantly. I just usually drink just with meals. So it's often been just wasted effort.
Yeah, then if you don't think you need one. And the
I'll
other
find
thing
something
too
for
is like if you are gonna buy, if you don't like bringing like a reusable one, if you're just gonna buy like a larger water bottle in
And
the
then reuse
airports,
that.
you can just reuse that. I do
Yeah,
that all the time. If I'm like, oh, I have to buy a water bottle, I'm like, I'm just gonna reuse this till I can recycle it. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think it'd be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other last questions?
No, I like the pictures in the background, Scott. It's really
Oh
nice.
yeah.
Oh, right. It's
Yeah.
always like, ooh, so distracting. I'm like,
Yeah.
the zebra one's really cool.
Yeah.
Have you got the snow leopard up there?
Not yet.
Okay.
I need to print that out. So I guess fun snow leopards from the last snow leopard
Yeah,
expedition.
Ooh,
Wow.
yeah.
Uh,
awesome.
yeah.
Great. Well,
Okay.
I will close this out, but as I had
Yeah.
said previously, again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm so excited for you guys, and thank you again for taking the time out of your evening to be here. It wonderful to virtually meet you guys. I know I've worked with some of you guys a lot, so it's been and some new faces and everything, so it's great. I love it. But have a great
Looking
rest of
forward
your
to it.
night.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much
Yes.
again.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
All
Bye
right.
till
Call in
later.
a couple of
All
weeks.
right,
Okay.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.